with outer space? Could there be another human face? Is there life or thoughts evolving? Who's to say what we cannot see? Am I you? Are you really me? Are we believing?
Hello there,
Or just perceiving?
and welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of Weave Your Web Revived. I am your host, celebrity psychic, Tor James Faulkner. How are you doing? I hope you've had a really lovely time since the last episode. I really am genuinely curious about how you are all doing, so when you get in touch with the show, let me know how you are. And that's a good place to start. So, to get in touch with the show, there's a few ways that you can do it. The easiest way, and it always comes directly to me, but the easiest way is to go to my website, which is torjamesfaulkner.com. There's a contact form there. Just fill that in. Make sure it's marked for the show so that I know and I can keep it aside for the next episodes. And what I'm looking for from you, if you are wanting to get in touch, you can just say hello. You can just say hello. That's okay too. But if you would like to ask a question for a free mini reading on the show, pop that in there. Make sure it's nothing too urgent because there's no set schedule for the show. I'm also looking for your paranormal, spooky, glitter in the matrix stories as well to share on the show. And if you're listening through the Spotify app, you'll be able to actually leave a voice note for the show, and that way your voice can be on the show if you're comfortable with that. Play that out on the show. You'll hear yourself, you'll be part of the show, share your story, ask your question. Would really love to have some voice notes. I'll be honest, I still haven't had any voice notes, so would really love to hear that. But thank you for all your interaction that you have done. It's always great to hear from you, and like I say, let me know how you are when you do get in touch. I'll be honest, I could be better at the moment. First of all, I've got the giggles. I've got the giggles today. But I also feel like since June hit, so we're just going into the 11th of June as I'm recording, I feel like since June hit, all the allergies have been kicking my butt. It feels like it's been a really bad allergy year for me. So I hope you are not all suffering from allergies. But yeah, so I'm enjoying a rare few hours of the antihistamine working, the inhaler working. But if I do sound a bit wheezy or a bit husky, that's what it is. It's the allergies kicking my butt. Got a jam-packed episode for you for episode 3 of season 2. And I want to touch on something first of all that, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm a little bit nervous about talking about this again. I'm a little bit nervous about it. So bear with me. Part of what I want to do in some of these new episodes is to touch a little bit on things that, you know, have been spoken about before in the original version of Weave Your Web, which is, of course, you know, a few years ago now. And, you know, if there's more elaboration to psychic stories that I cover here on the show. One of the biggest episodes of the original version of Weave Your Web, if not the biggest, was an episode about Doreen Virtue, who I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, will have heard of. And if you haven't listened to that episode, pause this for a moment. Go back and listen to that. It's quite a long episode, so if you've got to put it on double speed, I won't be offended. It's part of season 1 of Weave Your Web Revived. It was one of the archived episodes that I put up. And that episode, it was a hot topic at the time. And Naomi from Nandora, hi Naomi, if you're listening, came on the show. And we discussed everything that was going on with Doreen Virtue at the time. Now, it was obviously very of the time. A lot of the things hadn't happened yet. It was still an evolving story. But I find that episode really interesting to listen back to because Naomi is very, very knowledgeable about the Doreen Virtue situation. I don't know if she still is, but at the time she was involved in a lot of social media groups that maybe necessarily didn't surround Doreen, but there was a lot of people in the groups with her who were, very interested in Doreen, and it was really, really interesting to hear the impact that the situation was having. And the reason that I bring this up, not only because I think it's important to follow up on, stories and things that have been covered before. When I was doing the frequently asked questions for my newsletter, if you don't know, I do a monthly newsletter, it's usually monthly anyway, called T-Mail, and you can sign up for that on my website. Again, that's torjamesfaulkner.com. And it's just a little update from me, just letting you know what I've been up to, letting you know if there's anything exciting coming up. But the past few months I've been doing frequently asked questions, and somebody asked me for this month's, why don't I use terms like twin flames? And really, I'd wrote a whole, big lovely reply to it, and I didn't actually name Doreen in the in the response, but really, I was referring to Doreen. I was referring to the fact that I don't consider myself to be new agey number one. That's not a label that I would associate with myself. Number two, Doreen is the one who popularised, or Doreen / her publisher, the publisher that she was with at the time, are the ones who popularised or even came up with a lot of these phrases, a lot of these words that are used in the way that people understand them at the moment. So I had explained a lot about, like the way that I understood soulmates to be is not the way, that she and this publishing company, etc., described soulmates. And to give you just a brief explanation of that, the way that I understood soulmates to be when I was growing up and learning about, all of this, was that the idea was that we travel sort of in soul groups, and these people who are soulmates or who are within your soul group, they'll come in your life to teach you a lesson. So they'll come into your life at pivotal moments, and often a soulmate is like a grandparent, or like your first best friend that maybe you move schools and you don't keep in touch with, or a beloved pet. So people who are in your life at pivotal moments, important pivotal moments, crucial moments, teach you a lot about something, give you a lot of love, but maybe they're not in your life for a particularly long time. They're in your life for like a fraction of time. And the way that the kind of new age term of soulmate is that this is the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, and it's a big romantic connection, and it's a big thing. And the twin flame meaning that you often hear being talked about in these spaces, it's a very, very flimsy, very similar wording to how they describe soulmates as being like this connection, and you feel all your chakras opening up and you miss them when you're away from them. And actually both of these kind of meanings, and I'm kind of skimming around the meanings because it would be a whole show in itself, but these meanings are very close to like the definition of love sickness, and things like that, which is obviously very, very real, but that's more like a kind of psychological response to being apart from someone that you're interested in. It's not even necessarily like a spiritual thing. So anyway, that went round the houses a little bit, but the person asking about that reminded me that the reason that I stay away from terms like that is in part the association with Doreen, who has denounced all of this stuff, and has continued to change her stance in a more, I feel, troubling way and a more problematic way. Now, I'm going to play you a clip from this. This would have been around the time, I think it was actually the same week as when the Doreen Virtue Conundrum episode came out. So I'm going to play you this clip right quick.
And some people are accusing me of doing this for publicity or money. Honey, if I wanted more money, I would have just stayed where I was at.
Right.
Because my money has gone down because I've taken the royalties off of some of my products that don't resonate with me. Some people have asked if their certificates from my classes are still valid. Yes. People have asked if the courses will still be available. Yes. They've asked if they are going to get new certificates. No, because the old ones are valid.
Mm-hmm.
And will I keep the groups up on Facebook? Yes. You know, just basic questions. And then they want to know why I took Ascended Masters cards and book out of print. And I'm not calling the Ascended Masters evil. Hear me, hear me. What I'm saying is that because I read the Bible and there was so many times when people would worship these deities instead of God, I'm concerned that my book or cards of Ascended Masters could be a tool to greenlight worshiping someone other than God. I'm also concerned whether my angel cards could be used instead of going to God, because I saw myself doing that, Radley. And that was the main reason that I took my name off the tarot cards. And I'm not denouncing tarot, even though that's been widely circulated.
Right.
People say I've denounced my entire body of work. Not true. Good dramatic headline, though.
Yeah, right.
Good to get those likes and clickbait, but no. What I see tarot and Ascended Masters and my angel cards, I see them as it's how you use them that matters.
Now, what she's saying there seemed very, very reasonable at the time. And in a less popular episode following the Doreen Virtue Conundrum, I did play that clip, which is why I have it, and I asked people, you know, what they thought about it. Did they believe her when she was saying this? And the general response, oh, I should point out that was from Radley Valentine's radio show. You did hear her, referring to lovely Radley there. And the general response was, no, we don't believe what she's saying in this clip. And the general response was right. Because since then, she has fully denounced. She says there that she hadn't denounced her body of work, etc. She has fully denounced her body of work. She has a whole list, and I had written an article about this a few years ago on my old website, which is gone now, and I unfortunately don't have the article anymore. That's a story for another time. But she has this whole list of things to stay away from. She continued for a long time to write articles, both on her site and for publications, about things that people should stay away from. Did say, at least in things that I saw and heard myself, that these things were evil, that we should burn our angel cards. There was a lot of implication that her experiences with certain things were the only ones that mattered. And I would be interested, if you would all like me to go into this a lot more in depth on a particularly special episode about this. I'll leave it up to you. But this brings me back to the point from the the T-mail. If somebody is so quick to turn around and denounce their whole body of work, make the sudden change that they don't believe in that anymore, they're not going to use those things anymore. And by the way, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. And there's another point I want to quickly touch on here too. I see a lot of stuff saying that Doreen turned. She turned Christian. She, turned to God. She changed religion. She changed paths. That's not necessarily true. Doreen has always been Christian. Always. Christian aspects were always part of her work, part of the decks, part of the writings. So she didn't turn Christian. She didn't change from being what she calls New Age to being Christian. That's not what happened. What happened was that she, seemingly suddenly let go of what she calls New Age stuff. And while, as that clip demonstrates, while initially, it seemed like she just wasn't resonating with it anymore, she wasn't wanting to make money from it anymore, which again is all fair enough, she has continued since to actually call it evil, to actually say burn the cards, to, actually say that it's defiant to read tarot and things like that. So anyway, little bit of an update about that. And like I say, I'll leave it in your hands if you want me to go into that a lot further in an episode, particularly about that. But all that to say is, be very careful what you're taking on from people who position themselves in such a way where they're acting like an authority on, a subject that's got a lot of ebb and flow, that's, very, very personal. That, when they're presenting things like terms that don't have very deep meanings, that they're presenting as absolute facts. And this is the thing, she was teaching these things. You heard her saying there that the certificates and the courses will still be valid and still available. So she was teaching these things. She was teaching these things, essentially giving qualifications to people in these things. And now she's saying to stay away from them. So I think that we have to be very, very careful when, somebody positions themselves in the way that she does and the way that she is. And very, very careful what terms and aspects and teachings that we take from them. Always, always do your own research. Always, always do your own research. If you're learning from somebody else, just make sure that they're credible. Make sure that they're credible. Make sure that they're not twisty-turny. And like I say, I'll leave it in your hands if you want me to go into this a lot more, but I did want to touch on it. It was supposed to be briefly. But it's ended up not so brief. Just at the start of the show here. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit more lighthearted. So we're going to have a psychic story from the news. And it's astrology. It's, an astrology related story. This is from the Mail Online, and it involves a friend of the show in Baal. So the headline is Celebrity Astrologer and Psychic in Baal reveals which zodiac signs are the luckiest in love, and it's good news if you're a Pisces. I'm not, unfortunately. Pisces is officially the star sign with the best luck in love, while an Aquarius can spend decades waiting for the right person, according to Celebrity Astrologer. Inbal from London has teamed up with Jackpot City Casino to give her verdict on just how lucky in love the 12 signs will be this year. She revealed that Pisces, people who are officially the luckiest in love, with Cancer and Taurus, also ranked highly in second and third place, while those who are an Aquarius can spend decades waiting for the right person to ensure perfect compatibility. And Bal explains, each sign has a different and unique way of approaching love and romance, with water signs like Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces prone to falling in love at the drop of a hat. Meanwhile, fire signs like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius value short-term relationships as well as long-term ones and take no time to get over a love story. She added the earth signs like Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are pragmatic and enjoy the practical side of a relationship and having someone to live, laugh, and love with. Lastly, air signs like Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius are interested in intellectual love connection. I'm just throwing words in for the sake of it. Sorry, Inbal. And will fall in love with a person's mind and can enjoy long-distance relationships. Ooh, that's interesting. Did not know that. Number 1, Pisces, the most romantic sign of the zodiac. Pisceans can't live without love. Sensitive and caring, those born under the sign of the fish give a partner their all, she said. Pisces believe that love lasts a lifetime, so they feel devastated when a relationship ends. They're non-judgmental, and so will give any prospective suitors a chance. Number 2, Cancer. Inbal revealed the most family-minded of the zodiac, Cancerians love to be in love and love to be surrounded by their favourite people. Domestic and intuitive, those born under the sign of the crab feel happiest when they're with loved ones and family. Let me try that again. Domestic and intuitive, those born under the sign of the crab feel happiest when they're with loved ones and family. They need a partner who can accept daily meetings with parents and nieces and hourly check-ins. Number 3, Taurus. The most physically motivated sign of the zodiac. Taurians fall in love with the full experience of body and soul, the astrologer explained. Powerful and physical, those born under the sign of the bull require a partner they can touch often and feel deeply. Taurians live life to the full and appreciate romantic experiences that leave them feeling satisfied. Wink, wink. It doesn't say wink, wink. Doesn't say wink, wink. Number 4, Scorpio. Inbal said, the most sensuous sign of the zodiac. Scorpios crave the human touch. Passionate and sensitive, those born under the sign of the scorpion like to take a walk on the wild side. Scorpio will hit the jackpot with a partner that's as open-minded as they are. Number 5, Leo. Loud and proud, Leos are a sign that loves to be adored. Relationships are important for those under the sign of the lion because they don't like to be alone. The lion is the king of the jungle, and Leo will appreciate a lover who treats them like royalty. Number 6, Capricorn. Oh, I think that this is like a chart. I think this is in order from 1 down. Like number 1 being like the most like lucky in love. Number 6, Capricorn. The wheeler dealer of the zodiac. Capricorns need an impressive partner that looks good and sounds good so that they can create a power couple together. That's interesting. She said, focused and driven, those born under the sign of the sea goat are always aiming towards a goal. A love story that enhances their lives. A love story that enhances their lives is welcome, but they risk falling for someone who only looks the part. Number 7, Virgo. The most conventional sign of the zodiac? Okay. The most conventional sign of the zodiac. Virgos enjoy the practical side of being part of a couple. Sensible and pragmatic, those born under the sign of the Virgin are sought after partners. Virgos don't cheat or lie and will wash the big pots and hoover under the bed. Virgos prefer a predictable, intelligent, elegant partner just like them. Number 8, Sagittarius. The party animal of the zodiac. Sagittarians love experimentation, hilarious and chaotic. Those born under the sign of the Archer can be convinced to try anything once. For Sagittarius, there's nothing more important than a lover who makes them laugh, and they fall in love through shared adventures. Number 9, Aries, the most independent sign of the zodiac. Aries make for exciting partners if you can catch them, and Baal said. Sporty and outdoorsy, those born under the sign of the Ram are truly happy single and won't be looking to fall in love. The fun-loving spirit of Aries creates unusual love stories filled with tales of the unexpected. Number 10, Libra. The astrologer revealed the most balanced sign of the zodiac. Librans suit being in love. Graceful and attentive, those born under the sign of the Scales are known for their beauty and their skill in the kitchen. That threw me. That threw me, the skill in the kitchen thing. And are in demand as partners. Libra judges harshly though, and they'd rather wait for someone perfect, which can take a long time. Number 11, Gemini. The most sociable sign of the zodiac. Geminis easily find love, Inbal said. Charming and magnetic. Those born under the sign of the Twins have admirers flocking to get together with them. Geminis don't want to limit their chances and could end up dating multiple people at the same time. Gemini can be truly in love with more than one person at once. That makes a lot of sense. Number 12, Aquarius. The intellectuals of the zodiac. As long as their minds are stimulated, Aquarians demand little from a mate. Faithful and loyal, those born under the sign of the water bearer. I nearly said water beaver. There's so many, animal signs, and it looked like water beaver for a second. Anyway, those born under the sign of the water bearer love the mind, but can appear a little aloof in person. Shared values with a lover are important to an Aquarius, whereas height or eye colour are secondary. They can spend decades waiting for that person with perfect compatibility. That's absolutely lovely. I loved that. Such good insights. Time for a break.
It's a great big universe. We can't be who came here first. Step outside of your mind. It's so very deep down there. We walk around without a care. Step outside of your time. Is it all an illusion? Dressed up in confusion. Step outside. Step outside.
Welcome back to episode 3, season 2 of Weave Your Web Revived. I am still your host, Tor James Faulkner, and I still hope that you're having a lovely time. I'm going to read, this is from BuzzFeed, I'm going to read one or two glitch in the Matrix experiences. So the first one says, if I told you what I saw last night, you would not believe me. Like, I can't even wrap my head around it. So here it goes. I went to do laundry around 2 a.m. with my oldest son. After we put the laundry in, we went to a McDonald's drive-thru to get something to drink. The drive-thru was packed with about 5 or 6 cars ahead of us. That's busy for 2 a.m. I noticed none of the cars were moving forward, and it had been like 5 minutes already waiting. So I decided to go around the car in front of me to the next drive-thru lane. McDonald's has 2 lanes. As I'm pulling around them, I look into the car to see why they are not moving, and I kid you not, both people, driver and passenger, looked dead. Heads tilted all the way back, eyes shut, not moving, dead. I freaked out and tried to pull out of the drive-thru entirely, going around the other cars just to get out of there. And the next car I passed, all the passengers also looked dead. Heads tilted back, eyes shut. I panicked, thinking maybe they were all shot, or someone killed them. Let me try that again. I panicked, thinking maybe they were all shot, or someone killed them. Or someone killed them all. So I effing hit the gas and got the F out of there. My son called 911 and told them what happened, and they sent an officer to check. A few minutes later, the cop called us back and said everything was fine at McDonald's. Mind you, my son saw it too. We both saw the car in front of us. The people looked dead. The stuff was terrifying. It literally looked like one of those rapture movies or end of the world type of movies. Needless to say, I can't wrap my head around what we saw, or why I'm still scared over it. Ooh. That's freaky. And the theory for what might have happened that's been included here is excluding the possibility of hallucination due to fatigue, some kind of jumping between parallel universes. So we have another one here. Before making an offer on our house, my husband and I went for a viewing with our 3-year-old daughter, whom we'd left with a babysitter the first time we saw the house. As we walked in, I told her she could choose a bedroom. She said, "I want the dinosaur room," and ran upstairs. Okay, 3-year-olds say random stuff. A moment later, she called out, "Here it is," and sure enough, the closet of her bedroom was covered in dinosaur stickers. My husband, the realtor, and I were all freaked out. The kid acted like she knew the stickers were there, but none of us remembered seeing them before, and we certainly hadn't talked about them. The house was vacant and immaculately clean. It was an estate sale. We left the stickers up. And the theory, I saw the theory and it's put a shiver right down me. A ghost or other paranormal entity in the house communicated with the child. Okay, let's do one more of these. Let's do one more. This was around 2002. I was about 8. Me, my dad, and my stepmom at the time were on our way from California to Tennessee by plane. Once we landed, we got out of the plane and waited for my dad to turn on his phone to call my aunt, who was waiting for us at the airport. We wait a couple of minutes, and my dad has a ton of missed calls from my aunt freaking out about where we were. He called her back, and she's asking us where we've been, and says that they've been waiting for 2.5 hours. We were pretty confused because our flight got there in a normal amount of time without delays, but we somehow lost 2.5 hours of time. Time change from California to Tennessee aside. Once we met up with them down at baggage, our carousel was completely empty of luggage and other passengers. We had to go pick up our baggage somewhere because they had been unclaimed for too long. Still don't know what happened or how we lost this much time. Felt very weird and surreal for the rest of the night. Ooh. And the theory given here is time slipping, or another type of temporal anomaly. Ooh. Do you have any glitch in the Matrix experiences? Let me know. Get in touch with the show. Let me know your experience with glitch in the Matrix or Mandela effect stuff. Or if you've got any other spooky or paranormal stories that you'd like to share. We've had a question come in from Victoria. Hello, Victoria. And Victoria asks, will Jay and I get things together? Okay. Thank you for your question, Victoria. As you can probably hear, I am shuffling away with the cards here. Now, the cards are really for my benefit. The way that I work, I don't necessarily go into each individual card in a reading. They're more for my benefit to get the information a bit quicker. You know what? This is a yes. It's a yes with a slight but, okay? So at the moment, and this is kind of the but, at the moment, it looks like this is an idea in your head, Victoria. It looks like this is something that you're thinking about. It looks like you're thinking about getting with Jay. It looks like you've given this a lot of thought. It looks like this is something that's been on your mind for a really, really long time. And from what I feel here, you're not always sure if Jay feels or thinks the same way. And it's almost like you think about it, there's a bit of movement, the movement stops, and you sort of go, screw this, I give up. Throw your hands up in the air, and you try and move on, and then there's a bit of movement, and there's kind of, it's a little bit of a cycle, but it's a lot of thought. There's a lot of thought. But it seems like he is thinking the same thing. He's having the same kind of thoughts as you. When he sees you, he's kind of feeling the same feelings as you. It seems like it's frustrating from both ends. There's something preventing this from fully happening at the moment. Exactly what that is, I'm not 100% sure. I don't always get all of the information. Sometimes the things are not for me to know. So that was the but. Okay? But then we have yes. So we have a very basic yes. You're going to get it together. This is going to happen. And I've just said I don't normally go into the cards, but we actually have the Two of Hearts here, which talks about the two of you coming together. It will feel fresh. It will feel, they're saying in my ear, it will feel like a reward. So, it will feel like, because you've been thinking about this and wanting this and hoping for this for such a long time, when it does happen, it feels like a reward. It feels like you've been rewarded for hard work, I guess. But what's interesting to me here is that it indicates that when he next comes around, Jay feels like a male energy. When Jay next comes around, he's coming back around in a very romantic way, a very big way. It's almost surprising. Because, like I say, what's coming up here is that there's a lot of this which is a lot of thought, and not necessarily, how can I put it politely, it's not necessarily physical, it's a lot of thought, a lot of planning, a lot of hoping. But you're not stupid, Victoria. You're not stupid, you're very, very intelligent. You know what's going on, you know why you're thinking those things. So Jay comes back around in this kind of big surprising way, but it's also not really a surprise. It's like they get to come round in a way that's honest. So it might surprise other people. It won't surprise you too. So it's a yes. It's a firm yes. There isn't really a when with this. Could it be this year? Might be this year. Thank you very, 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 very much for your question, Victoria. That was very, very interesting, because it doesn't. I think that you'll know what. I think to people who don't know, people who are not in this situation, it might sound like quite straightforward, but I'm feeling like it's not that straightforward, and I think that you know that it's not that straightforward, if that makes any sense. And so it was very, very interesting to look at. We're also going to have a general reading for all of us. So I'm going to take an angel card or two. Again, shuffling away. Just for all of us, just a bit of a general message for anybody who might be listening. So, take from this what resonates, leave what doesn't resonate. That's the thing too, you know, a lot of people, they really enjoy like general readings on shows like this, you know, on social media, and there's sometimes is, you know, people have said to me, oh, you know, I saw this general reading and it said this and this, but then it didn't happen. And it's a general reading for a large, usually a large, you know, group of people. So it's not always necessarily going to be very, very specific to you or to me. I find that sometimes it's often just an uplifting message, you know, for everybody. When I do them, it's often, you know, like a pat on the back, a pat on the bum, to either get you moving or to congratulate you in some way. And every so often it's like a very, very specific message for somebody or two people, very, very specifically, who otherwise wouldn't have got the message. So if it feels off to you when you're hearing these general messages, I don't mean to give you a whole lecture. Sorry. But if it feels off to you when, you know, I'm doing these general messages, or, you know, another reader is doing these general messages, if it feels off, if it doesn't feel like it's for you, then don't feel like you have to make it fit. Okay, let's see. We have the Abundance card from the angels here, and this is from Archangel Uriel. We had a really big message last time talking about how a dream might come true, was kind of the crux of the message. And I feel like this kind of follows that quite nicely. Abundance. But I also feel like this is about security. So if you've been feeling a little bit wobbly lately, if you've been waiting on a particular house situation, if you've been waiting on some job security, has somebody listening to this been jumping from temp job to temp job to temp job and not really happy with it? Because it kind of feels like somebody's temp, desperate for a permanent job. Permanent job's coming. Permanent house is coming. Less back and forth with certain relationships, Victoria. Abundance, but it really feels like a message of security. And then we have another card here, which is balance, and Raphael brings this balance message forward. Things will be more balanced. Things will feel less. They're actually saying things will feel less rushed, because it's not so much grabbing a moment or having to take a new temp job or having to quickly pack stuff, if you know, having to move quickly. Those again are kind of the three examples that are, you know, quite strong here. So things will be more balanced. Things will, security again. Things will feel more balanced, more secure. And finally, we have the meditation card here. And really, it's not necessarily saying, go and meditate, you need to meditate. I'm not the sort of person who's going to make you meditate. Okay? But it is very much a sense of take some downtime, take a few minutes to sit peacefully, sit quietly, which is, you know, pretty close to what meditation is anyway. Take those few moments for yourself. Somebody listening to this doesn't always take enough time, you know, just for themselves. So yeah, that's a lovely message, you know, stability, balance, security, and take a few quiet moments here and there. Thank you very, very much for listening. I will see you next time. I have been your host, Thru James Faulkner. You have been excellent. See you soon. Go power.
That I can't ignore. There is more beyond the garden door. Is this life? Or timelines merging? Timelines merging. On a distant moon beyond the Kepler, there's a soulmate who just hasn't met ya. Is this life? Just reaffirming, reaffirming. Who's to say what we cannot see? Am I you? Are you really me? Are we believing? Or just perceiving? It's a great big universe. We can't be who came here first.